Shapiro is having a little bit of a spasm, and this is a very much I don't like that quote actually. My answer is my feelings don't care about your facts, because
Or facts don't matter.
yeah, facts don't matter.
Which Oscar Wilde was another guy who was a facts don't matter.
Yeah. Oscar Wilde is a super facts don't matter guy, which is why he was such a great writer.
So the Economist, and they've actually deleted the tweet.
Yes.
But the
Do we have
original
this up on the screen?
Yeah, you want to put that up, Brendan? It says, inside the mind of Ben Shapiro, the alt-right sage without the rage. I haven't actually looked at the piece yet, but then Ben Shapiro says, The Economist, this is a vile lie. Not only am I not alt-right, I am probably their leading critic on the right. I was the number one target of their hate in 2016, according to ADL data. I demand a retraction. And
leading source of their hate, huh?
Yeah. No, he was the number one target of their hate. I mean, if we want to get into data, he was also the number one guy that the one of the mosque shootings, I think the one, I forget.
Mosque shooting in Canada. He was one of his top Twitter search
Big
terms.
Shapiro fan. But the other thing that's
Don't get in your bag, Ben. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact. We're just talking about facts here.
Yes.
This is a day after it was revealed that the Christchurch killer was donating to identitarian movements in Austria, sort of connected to, Brittany Pettibone is one of the women who was on it.
Right.
There she is with Stefan Molyneux. Brittany Pettibone is connected to Martin Sellner, one of the leaders of it.
And he is an Austrian identitarian, and they actually raided his house. So I don't know the state of things now, but he was actually, there was at least some form of initial investigation in
I think
Austria
that what's
about
confirmed
this.
so far is the shooter donated money to them.
Right. No, he wasn't arrested or anything, but I believe they explored.
Okay,
they were looking for things. Yeah.
But if you look through, this is a nice thread by Becca Lewis here, who just connects all the different people who've been platforming this. And wouldn't you know that Lauren Southern, who's also connected, there she is with Dave Rubin and some other guy. I don't actually know who that is.
It looks like a Dave Rubin parody, whoever that guy is, but that's fine.
But look what we have here. The Daily Wire has actually hosted Southern several times. Andrew Klavan, another show host on the network, has also had her on, as has the head of the network, Ben Shapiro. She seems to be a favorite there. There's Ben Shapiro discussing with Lauren Southern, is America on the verge of a mental breakdown? I wonder which people they discovered there. So
maybe it was an interview where Ben talked about how dangerous it was to promote xenophobia and racism. I'm guessing not.
Or took her to task very hardly.
Or took her to task very hard.
We're only going to have you on 6 other times on my network after I take you to task here. And The Economist did eventually backtrack and said, we apologize. They call him like a conservative or something now.
Oh, God.
But Ben Shapiro's like, in other words, if you label me alt-right, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Jesus Nice, says Herb.
Yes, I'm really glad to see a revival in the word Herb.
Yeah, I actually don't think The Economist was wrong to call Ben Shapiro alt-right. I mean, you could technically say maybe he's alt-light because he's a conduit to the alt-right.
Yeah.
But I think we're splitting hairs there after, a number of actual killings, racist killers have cited this sort of
Do you also
milieu
remember
as
his main spin when he quit Breitbart over Trump? And I remember he hated Bannon, and God knows
that's the thing. He's like, I wrote this thing against Bannon at the time.
Who knows what the real beef was. I mean, maybe it was sincere, but I don't take anything that any of these people say at face value. But a big part of his spin was Andrew Breitbart would never do this. Andrew Breitbart, the founder of Breitbart News, the spreader of the Acorn Lie, a guy who was in the heart of every racist conspiracy about Obama. I guess with the exception, I think he was careful about not getting too involved in birtherism, but I'm sure it was a conduit for it on that site. Andrew Breitbart, who's just a pure extremist media hustler, he would have, after a career of lies about Obama and socialist conspiracy theories, would have been like, oh, a tabloid figure running a troll campaign for president with money at stake. Yeah, this is the time where I'd have a conscience. All that would happen I am quite sure that if If Andrew Breitbart was still alive, Ben Shapiro probably would be working for him and wouldn't have had his fake anti-Trump phase. This is the mosque shooter info.
Yeah, the list of Twitter profiles visited by Quebec City mosque killer in weeks leading up to the shooting. It's interesting. I don't know how they tell how many times he visited there. Maybe it is search or internet history. But right at the top of the list, Ben Shapiro, editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire, animate tour of the Ben Shapiro Show. That's weird. Also, John Nolte up there, author Breitbart, author The Daily Wire of Ben Shapiro. Tucker Carlson, Fox News, founder of The Daily Caller.
So this guy was really intellectually curious.
Yeah, I mean, he also goes, more explicit racist. There's Richard Spencer there. But, yeah.
That's actually funny because, in a way, that's actually a pretty good... That's sort of how it works, right?
Like you
get
get...
a little Shapiro, a little Carlson.
That's your main...
And then we start moving, then we get some... I mean, it's jumbled up, but I actually like that trajectory. Shapiro, Carlson, Spencer, Duke. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how the pipeline in theory works, right? Like you have these bigger media figures, and then you have this, we're the intellectual dark web. Well, what ideas are really hidden here? I guess we're going to have to, follow all these different people you've had on your shows, right? You're exposing me to Lauren Southern because presumably she's part of this intellectual dark web as well. These ideas were just being hidden from, like maybe ideas about Muslim birth rates and that sort of thing.
Right. Maybe.
And I mean, this is it's so obvious, and I think more stuff is only going to happen or is going to out because
be disclosed
of the jerk encirclement.
All right, let's do one more piece of sound. I want to play this, and then we'll end soon. But are we? I'm gonna break the third wall here. Are we tight?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh.
Thinking, what is Gab?
What is Gab?
It's the intellectual dark web.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, was that on the list?
No, it like literally is. Gab is like, this is where we go to be.
Oh, right.
Yes, exactly. Right. I want to play this appeal from the United Nations.